Hello, fellow preppers. It's I the Rumple one again. Talking about prepping and money and the economy. You know, there's a difference between being cheap and being frugal. Being a penny pitcher and being thrifty. You know, I go to rummage sales, garage sales, thrift stores. Some people think that's cheap. Why don't you just buy a new one? Why should I? A friend of mine bought a new Kindle. Well, wanted a cover for it. Those little covers to slip the Kindle in are like 20, 30 bucks. Went down to the thrift store, found a cover for $2. Now, it's not made for Kindle, but it was one of those padded little magazine or little bookcases. It had a zipper on it, had some compartments. Kindle fit right in there perfectly. $2. Is that cheap? No, that's frugal. That's thrifty. You see, it's real easy to let money slip out of your pocket if you're not paying attention. Real easy, and it adds up. I mean, let's just say every day, you know, you have that $2 cup of coffee going into work or coming home from work. You're treating yourself. Well, $2 a day is $10 a week. 2 times 5. Well, 50 weeks a year times 10 is 500. That's $500. I'd buy a lot of preps. Or it might buy something that you need. You could buy a gun. You could buy a tool like a new chainsaw. Or put it towards something like that. You could go on vacation. Buy a round-trip ticket somewhere. So you have to watch out when you're just, you know, it's only $2. You know, you say, well, you know, you can't live your life such and such, you know, and be all this and be cheap and never have any fun. You know, if you don't have to have money to have fun. If you do, then that gets back to boring and not having much of an imagination. I mean, you might have to make an initial outlay, like say you buy a set of horseshoes. Well, then you can play horseshoes forever. Don't cost you anything. So it's things like that where you really have to check yourself. Because, like I said, you know, some people think it's a bad economy, and if you don't have a job or if you got cutbacks, got your salary reduced or capped, and you haven't had a raise in 5 or 10 years, you need to stretch those dollars. I mean, I went to a yard sale. I'll probably show you on another video. Got a little chainsaw, a little mini Mac for 10 bucks. Starts, it works. In fact, that big brush pile is going to get well acquainted with that mini Mac. So it's things like that. I mean, I was at that rummage sale. Got a bunch of things that I'll put some to use now, and some will come in later down the road, like those candles. You know. So the whole point is that, you know, it's easy to call somebody cheap, but look at your own situation and think, geez, if I tighten the screws on the wallet, don't let the dollars come out so quick, they might save up. You know, see, one thing I bought yesterday was a new folding knife. This is a buck, made in USA. It was at the Big 5. They had some other knives there, but I said, hey, and I looked and they were made in China. Didn't want no made in China knife. Got enough of those pieces of junk. But this buck, it's a nice buck. It says USA on it. And it's lifetime. This thing breaks, I send it back. They either repair it or replace it. Just cost me the postage to getting it there. So, I mean, I had other knives, but they're junk. In fact, they're going to go on my yard sale. China, made in China pieces of junk and other knives. I know, what was it? Winchester Remington, their knives, they put their name on knives made in China. What's the world coming to? It's like, come on, that's just wrong. So I'd rather save up those $2 and don't buy coffee or don't buy them sugary drinks for the inflated price. And then I can, when something like that came along. In fact, this knife wasn't even in the case. I was talking to the guy at the store. I said, yeah, I had like a buck knife. I really like buck knives, but they don't have a clip. He goes, wait a minute, I think I got one that has a clip on it. One thing I got to do, though, is, you see it's black. If it falls out in the yard, somehow falls out of my pocket, this thing might be really hard to find. So what I got to do is I'm going to get some neon paint and either paint it neon pink or bright green so it'll stick out like a sore thumb. In fact, you should do that with all your tools that you use in the yard. Put some kind of fluorescent tape or paint on them so if somebody leaves them out or you leave them out and forget about it, or they fall out of the box or your bucket or your toolbox or your pocket, whatever, when you're walking around you go, oh shoot, there's something. So anyway, like I said, you know, when it comes to being cheap, no. When you're prepping, you prep frugally. You buy things on sale, you wait. You know, you stockpile your money, and then when something goes on sale that you need, that's when you buy it. You frequent the thrift store. You know, you turn somebody else's trash into your treasure. You repurpose things, reuse them for things. You don't just throw stuff away because you don't like the looks of it. You change the looks, or you use it for something else. I mean, it's not hard, it's not difficult. Use a little common sense, use a little ingenuity. I was telling you about the Farmer's Almanac in that other video, and that's just one of the things that, you know, I used to teach you that in the home economics and the classes in junior high and high school that they don't have anymore. And so you're going to have to learn that on your own and maybe talk to some old people. And hopefully if you're old, you pass it along to your kids if they'll listen. But you have to make them listen. And you just teach them these things. It's not that difficult. It really isn't. You just have to be aware of it. That's the whole thing about prepping, is just to return to common sense. And I'm not the only one saying it. Like that Farmer's Almanac said, people are learning stuff, trying to learn stuff now that used to be just common knowledge, common teachings. They're learning to prepare because they realize if they fail to prepare today, they're preparing to fail tomorrow.